Hey everyone, this is Chris with the Beamer Barn, and today we're going to be getting my E39 M5 wagon ready for a 1,600-mile road trip for a ski trip that me and my friend Max are going on. So if you're getting your car ready for your road trip, then you probably want to do some of the things that I'm going to be outlining. And we also have some really cool parts to install that are fresh and ready to be unboxed. So stay tuned if you want to see what's inside of all these boxes. But for now, let's get straight into today's video. Now, before you go on a road trip, you want to make sure that your car was recently aligned. I installed fresh airlift suspension in the front of this car and then set a new ride height, which was much lower than before, and so the alignment was far out of spec. So we took it to Tires Plus, and they did a great job of aligning the car for us at the lowered height, including using the top hats on our airlift performance struts to make the alignment adjustment to camber it back out so that it wasn't so cambered in and the car wouldn't wear the tires so quickly. But speaking of tires, one of the things that you should really do before you go driving your car ever is check your tire pressure. So if you don't have a TPMS system or a tire pressure monitoring system, then you should probably check your tire pressures often, especially if you notice the car starting to change in how it's handling, because typically that's your first sign. Now, on all cars, there's going to be a stamp on the door sill that tells you what tire pressure you should be inflating them to. So go by the spec of the manufacturer, and also keep in mind that when you're going across different states or when you encounter cold weather, that the air inside the tires is going to shrink, and that's going to create a lower tire pressure. So after I checked my tire pressures, I made sure those were good and up to spec. I'm confident that we're not going to have any weird tire wear, and we should be good for 1,600 miles. Remember, on the highway is when your tires wear down the fastest when you have a bad alignment. So make sure that you have a good alignment when you're going to get on the highway. Now, the next thing that we're going to check is our fluids here. Now, I just finished building this car, and I've been driving it for the past 2 months and making sure that everything is in tip-top condition for this trip. So I'm not worried about any of the fluids. I know that we're good on brake fluid. I know that we're good on coolant. We just checked the oil as well. The oil is looking awesome. And otherwise, everything is good. The power steering has plenty of fluid as well. Might be a little low. We could top that off. So we're going to do that now. And otherwise, the car is good to go. Funny story, when we were at the Tires Plus, the guys noticed that I was low on washer fluid, but they refilled me up, and then you know, about half of it leaked out in my garage. And I guess that's probably why I was low on washer fluid. So now, while we're looking at the engine and we know that all the fluids are good and we just topped off the power steering fluid, we can go ahead and do one of our first mods that we have, and that is our K&N air filters. Now, I have what they would call hopeful thinking, because usually you'd be installing a set of upgraded air filters because you want to get more power out of a car, but specifically I want to install these to get more MPGs out of my car, or better gas mileage. So currently we have the factory paper air filters, and these are the performance air filters from K&N. They're really cheap. They're, I think, the cheapest, you know, aftermarket air filters you can get. And I have run these on almost all the cars that I've ever driven because they fit great in the factory air boxes. They have a lot of different applications. And they're reusable, washable. They're a dry filter, but you can oil them, I think. So we're going to be installing these, and fingers crossed we can get better gas mileage. And we also have some other mods as well to get some better gas mileage as well, because of course we're going to be cruising on the highway for a very long time. So let's go ahead and install these air filters, and fingers crossed we have some better gas mileage. All right, so now that our air filters are installed, we're gonna move on to the next thing on our to-do list, something that I've been ignoring for a while, and that is the differential fluid. Now, I have some Valvoline fluid. This is really affordable stuff. I actually got it at Walmart, but it is 75/140, and it has the limited slip additives that are necessary for this differential. But we're gonna go ahead and get under the car now, check the fluid. I'm pretty sure that it should be low because we have a leak coming from the input shaft. And we're gonna drain the old fluid out and put this new stuff inside. Later on, we do have to change out that seal so that we can, you know, have it 100% sealed anyways. But for now, we're just gonna change out the fluid so that we're good for our 1,600-mile trip. All right, now there you have it. Our differential is fully filled with fluid. Capacity is something like 1.2 liters, but realistically, you just need to drain it and then plug the bottom hole and then fill it until it's literally just pouring out. Like fill it and then try to cap it while it's still pouring out. And that is exactly the correct fluid. So we've sealed that up and that should be good to go. We can move on to our next item on the to-do list. All right, now we finally reached the last item on our to-do list for our road trip. And that is what's inside of all these boxes. I'm really excited to install them. Let's go ahead and unbox it and then maybe you guys can tell what it is. That's right, we have full underbody protection going on the E39 M5 wagon. So this car hasn't had any under panels for a long time, and now we're gonna finally install some because the swap is over with. We don't have a lot more service left to do anything like that. And I just wanna make sure the car is protected underneath so that on our drive, should we hit anything, water, rain, weather, bless you, anything like that, dirt, we don't want to kick it up into the engine bay or get the wiring wet or anything like that. So I found all these parts online. These are all aftermarket. The only one I wasn't able to find aftermarket was the transmission under tray. And if you guys can find one, let me know. Otherwise, the only option I know of is the OEM ones that you can buy, but they're about $150, $175. So I was able to piece all this together for about $150 actually. So these are the two covers that go on the back where the rails are. One of these is really important because it's for our fuel regulator and our fuel filter. And then we have the pork chops or whatever these are here on the sides. That keeps water from getting sprayed into the fog lights. And then we have the main engine under tray. Of course, that's gonna keep anything from getting into our belts or anything getting kicked up into the motor. So now one of the kits came with some of these clips, but I'm not sure exactly if this is gonna be enough for all the panels. So let's go ahead and install this now, and I'm gonna show you a before and after of what it looks like. So now let's go ahead and check out all the newly installed under trays. So all the way from the right side to the left side, we have fresh new plastics protecting our car. And this big major component here is going to protect the engine, the drive belts, the connectors, everything like that. These pork chops here are going to protect our fog lights. Remember, they came with all the hardware as well. So all the screws that I used here was supplied by them, and I actually reused some of them for the side panels. So these side panels are really nice at protecting the fuel filter and the pressure regulator that's right here. I'm not sure how this is supposed to be situated. There are holes for clips. It might line up in the right circumstances, but I just used some of those self-tapping screws to hold these in place. And otherwise, I mean, they had all the right holes to mount up. My chassis was missing a clip here, so I couldn't use the mounting hole, so I had to drill my own. But they literally, there's a tab here that goes under this screw thing, and there's a stud hole right here. So you take off all of the clips where it looks like it's gonna sit, including the ones on the side skirts, and then you can place these on and your car is protected. And you know, this isn't OEM stuff. I'd say the OEM stuff is more like rubber. This is like a thinner plastic, but it's still gonna do the same job of protecting your car, making sure that nothing, you know, gets under the car. I think that there's like the power wire under here, so you know, you want to make sure that's protected under the car. And I also think that these sort of things can influence our aerodynamics. So hopefully with some better aerodynamics and the air running smoother under the car, we'll get better gas mileage on our trip. But anyways, this will definitely protect us from the snow. So I'm glad that we did this. This is something that I really wanted to do before we headed out on the trip, and now it's done and the car is safe. So those panels came out really good. I'm happy with that. The last thing that we're gonna do, and I lied because we have one more thing to do before our trip, and that is get the car off the lift out here and give it a good wash. Before we finish out the video for today, I'm gonna go ahead and give the car a wash so that she's clean before we start our long trip. Now she's gonna go through snow, rain, and probably a whole lot more. So I think it's really important that we protect the paint, you know, might as well. I know it's not the best condition, but I'm gonna put some Turtle Wax ceramic hybrid coating on it. This is like a spray on stuff, but the guy Project Farm went and tested this stuff. Turns out that this is a really good deal for a really good ceramic coating. So we're gonna give the car a wash now, and then we're gonna finish it off with some of this ceramic coating spray, and then we'll be good to go for our trip. As always, I appreciate you guys who are subscribed to the channel, and those of you who just watch and support just by liking or commenting down below. I appreciate you guys as well. I'm really excited for the trip, and while I'm up there, I'm gonna be editing this video, so if the video comes out a little bit late, I apologize. But otherwise, I am so excited, and I can't wait to show you guys even more content this year. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a like on the video down below if you want to help support us. It helps us grow, and it's free and easy for you. And comment down below what you guys think you should do on your car before you go out on a road trip. I'm really curious. Maybe I missed something, and you guys can let me know down below. So I hope everyone has an awesome day, and we will see you in the next video.